Families here in Israel continue to speak out for their loved ones who remain hostage in Gaza 33 days after that October 7th massacre. I'm joined now by Liri Roman, whose sibling Yarden was kidnapped, one of those who's being held hostage, kidnapped from Kibbutz Be'eri. Liri, thank you so much for joining us. I can't even imagine what you've been through for these past 33 days. Tell us a little bit about your experience over the past month.
First of all, thank you for having me. I want to start with the subject that you've talked about before with Dr. Amir, because I feel like this is really my 2 cents. I want to start with thanking a bit for the support that we get in the streets everywhere. I feel like the people of Israel, we got a we are talking here about hundreds of people already died, and we don't have time to even mourn for them. But the people down there, I'm not talking about government, I'm not talking about our leadership. The people are being united around the fact that we can still have some kind of win picture when we'll have those live ones back with us. I feel, I mean, he's my neighbor. I feel like we're all united around this cause. And as you just said, Hamas is not an organization that you can easily just negotiate with. They're not obeying any set of rules that the Western world knows. We're talking about taking civilians from their home. This is the exact backyard that we see now that we were in. I think it was over a month before. Terrorists, armed terrorists, just went there, knocked on the door, torn it apart when nobody opened, and took my family out. It's something that is not imaginable for just people out there. It's not something that you do. And I think that we all agree that this needs to be out of the settings of war or countries, negotiations. But Hamas is not following those rules. And my sister is held there for 33 days. We don't know what's going on with her. We don't know if she's safe or not. We don't know if she's taken care of, if she has somewhere to sleep, if all these fightings for her to come back, in what condition is she's going to get back here. And this is why time is so crucial for us. She just doesn't have time. We have to get her back as soon as possible.
You say the Israeli community really is coming together and showing a strong show of strength and solidarity right now. I know your family also has been working just to get Yarden home. What efforts are you putting forward, and what can you do?
We've been doing anything ever since the first minute that we realized. It took some time. It took a day to realize the horror story that we are acting as main characters in. But ever since that happened, went down to Be'eri, gathered teams to go and look for Yarden in the last place she was seen. And here in our home, we have a whole control room doing anything that we can from social, because we know that today the crowd opinion matters. Your voices, your audience voice matters. This is what moves things. And this is why it's so important. We're talking to politicians. We're talking to diplomats. As we talk now, I'm the only one here in Israel in our home because my brother
Liri, we seem to be having some technical difficulties with your connection, but we appreciate you continuing to share your sister Yarden's story. Yarden Roman, who was kidnapped from kibbutz Be'eri 33 days ago. Liri, are you with us now? Liri?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you well.
Liri, I was just wanted to ask, as you said that it took a few days for you to even realize what happened to your sister Yarden. Can you take us back? How did you know that she was abducted? What do you know about how she was taken?
That Saturday, I understand that everything started just as a normal day. It took a few hours before we realized that Yarden stopped answering our phone and our calls. She wanted to create a relaxed and calm atmosphere for Geffen, her 3-year-old that we see in the video, while they're in the shelter. It took another half an hour to get mad at Yarden that she's not updating us that everything is fine, and another half an hour, just around 10 or 11, that we realized that something is going on. At around 12 was the first video published by the Hamas in Telegram, where I gathered all the information that we could, that we saw Kineret, Yeffen's grandma, taken, held by Hamas in the kibbutz. A few hours later, we saw another video that she's lying with her face on the ground in her own blood. Everything just fell apart, from being the most optimistic that they're just in the shelter room hiding and waiting for everything to be over, until realizing on Sunday morning, Alon, Yarden's partner, that we all also see in the video, in the pictures, called us and told us the full story. Dozens of armed terrorists that got into their house, pulled them out, put Alon, Yarden, and Geffen, the little one, in a car that just headed to the border. In a specific moment, Yarden and Alon decided to just jump out of the car and run for their life. And Yarden, holding Geffen, realized she couldn't run fast enough. So she passed Geffen to Alon, and she stopped trying to cover her head while the terrorists were shooting it. The way that I see it, she also tried to gain some more time for Alon to run. And Alon was really able to run and find shelter. He joined our house.
These stories of you continuing to share your sister's story, Yarden, we so appreciate it, giving her a voice right now.